Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Magic. This week, we are going to be running a Jund Aristocrats build, called Aristocrats because it takes its name from a paper magic deck from a couple of years back that ran creatures with Aristocrats in the name. This version of the deck seeks to amass a bunch of creatures and or creature tokens and sacrifice them in various ways for beneficial effect. There are many ways to build this deck. You don't have to go Jund. I have in the past played blue-black Dimir Aristocrats, and there are other cards that could be good in the deck that I'm not actually running. I'm going to go through the deck rather quickly here and just give you an idea of what we're doing. We're running 4 Blisterpods, which are creatures that when they die generate 1/1 Eldrazi Scion tokens. Good creature to sacrifice. 2 Bone Splinters, which is removal for 1 black that requires you to sacrifice a creature and destroys target creature. Great with Blisterpod or Carrier Thrall, which we are running 3 of. It is a 2/1 and it also generates a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi when it dies. We are running 4 Sylvan Ranger for mana fixing, and they're fine cards to sacrifice to other effects. 1 Elvish Visionary, because honestly that's all I had room for in the deck. 2 Evo Leap, one of our sack outlets here. For a green, we sacrifice a creature and get another creature from our library into our hand. Liliana, Heretical Healer, who also plays very well with sacrifice effects. Flipping into Liliana Defiant Necromancer if you lose one of your non-token creatures. And what we generally do with her in this deck is just return more creatures from the graveyard to play, though the discard effect is useful as well. 4 Nantuko Husk, which is the kill condition of choice in a deck like this. A 2/2 for 3 that you can sacrifice a creature to have it get +2/+2 until end of turn. He can get very big. 1 Eldrazi Obligator, which can steal your opponent's creatures and let you sack them for your own gain, or attack with them, or whatever you want to do. It is haste, so that is nice. 2 Act of Treason, which is also a creature stealing card. We hopefully have something out to sacrifice things to when we play either Act of Treason or Eldrazi Obligator. Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, as a token generator, and her +1/+1 counter ability is very good, as big as we generally flood the board. 2 Smothering Abomination, another card that is a sacrifice outlet and generates card advantage. At the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice a creature, and whenever you sacrifice a creature, draw a card. Now, you don't just have to sacrifice to Smothering a Bomb to draw the card. You can have another outlet out and sacrifice creatures to that. Smothering Abomination will still draw you a card. 2 Sifter of Skulls, which is a 4/3 for 4, and reads, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature onto the battlefield. This plays very nicely with all of our creatures, but especially with the Blisterpod and Carrier Thrall, which are all already generating Scions of their own. With a Sifter of Skulls out, they will generate 2 Scions when they die. 2 Pia and Kiran Nalaar, 4 for a 2/2 that puts 2 1/1 Flying Thopters onto the battlefield. It's a 3 for 1 creature, and can also sacrifice its creatures to deal 2 damage to target creature or player. It can sacrifice other artifacts as well, but I don't really have other artifacts in the deck. 2 From Beyond. This can generate tokens every turn, plus added little ability, we can sacrifice it to go and get our Eldrazi Obligator. 1 Arlinn Kord, as she flips to generate a 2/2 green wolf. The +2/+2 ability is also great, as it gains vigilance and haste. The abilities on her flip side are quite good as well. For +1 loyalty, all creatures we control get +1/+1 and gain trample till end of turn. Her -1 is a lightning bolt effect. She deals 3 damage to a creature or player. Its ultimate I have never actually done myself, but it's -6 loyalty, And we get an emblem with creatures you control have haste and tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. And 2 Chandra's Ignition. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and opponent. This is a great board wipe as well as kill spell because it allows you to deal direct damage to the opponent. Our mana base is 2 swamps, 2 mountains, 5 forests, 2 Hissing Quagmire, 1 Smoldering Marsh, 2 Cinder Glade, 2 Woodland Cemetery, 2 Rootbound Crag, 2 Dragonskull Summit, and 4 Evolving Wilds. That's the deck. On to the gameplay. Alright, we will be keeping this, though all of our lands are going to come into play tapped. It should be okay. We've got a wide variety of colors. If we can draw a basic, preferably a forest, that would help us out a lot. Also wanted to mention that I am going to have a video going up today going over the Hex trading card game, which is very similar in mechanics to Magic. So if you enjoy Magic, you might want to check that video out, as I think you would find it very interesting. Got a Blisterpod in play here. Unfortunately, with our lands coming into play tapped as they are, we're going to be a turn behind what we normally would be. It would have been great if we could have dropped Blisterpod turn 1 and then Carrier Thrall. The Sylvan Ranger is going to help a bit. I'm going to go ahead and play it and fetch a basic to help our lands come into play untapped. There's a forest, so that's good. Let's go ahead and... Oops, misclicked there, played our Carrier Thrall. Not a huge deal, as we did draw a basic. We will go ahead and play this Rootbound Crag, since we don't have anything to do with the mana. And I think we will attack. If our opponent wants to trade their Ranger for this Blisterpod, I'm perfectly okay with that. And it looks like they do. So we will be getting a Scion there. Looks like our opponent is on Jund as well. Of course, they're not limited to those colors, and it appears they are not. They appear to be playing a Super Friends Planeswalker deck. So we will see how we fare versus that. Alright, there's a second Ranger. Let's go ahead and play some Rangers then, shall we? Play our first one, and I suppose we will get a mountain. Oops, been replaced by the AI. Well, that's fine. We'll continue playing. This is very early in the game for them to be leaving. Of course, it could be server issues causing that. And then we will play our forest out and play our other Ranger. And with it, we will get a swamp. We have enough green sources as is. And I suppose we'll swing with our Scion. Hold back on the Carrier Thrall for now. Alright, trading off one of their allies. We need to draw something to take advantage of this stuff. We will definitely be deploying Evo Leap next turn, which will allow us to gain incremental card advantage. Eldrazi Obligator is quite alright as well. Well, let's go ahead and play this Woodland Cemetery. Thanks to our force, they now come into play untapped. We'll play an Evolutionary Leap. And then we will swing with just the Rangers. I expect our opponent will be blocking here. And they do indeed. This shambling vents could be a bit of an issue as time goes on. Hopefully we can deal with that effectively, or they'll tap it down. Depending on how things go next turn. Well, there is Gideon. We will be trying to deal with Gideon. To do so, we're going to be sacrificing our Carrier Thrall to get a Scion so we can pay the colorless cost of the Eldrazi Obligator here. Alright, a forest. Oops, pause. Let's not miss that, please. Sacrifice. That's fine. Sacrifice this. And what do we get from the Evo Leap? A Blisterpod. That is perfectly fine. And we are fine for lands. Let's go ahead and play another forest, just to make sure we always have enough to Evo Leap if we want to. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. We'll play the Obligator, stealing this Knight ally. We do want to pay, and we have to pay that way, so that's fine. Then we will say continue, and we'll swing the Obligator and the Knight ally at Gideon and the Ranger at our opponent's face. Alright, Gideon down. We'll go ahead and use Evo Leap to sacrifice the Knight ally so our opponent doesn't get it back and we get a creature out of the deal from Evolutionary Leap. Carrier Thrall is a fine draw. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn without playing Blisterpod so that I can Evo Leap at least one of these creatures if there is removal aimed at them. Evolutionary Leap is a nightmare for decks to deal with that depend on getting rid of your creatures and controlling the board, because it just generates such incremental advantage as time goes by. Alright, Ob Nixilis. And Ob is ticking up instead of killing a creature, so that's in our favor. We can't quite kill Ob Nixilis. So, I mean, we could activate here, but that would give us only 6 damage, which is not quite enough to get there. We do want to do enough that they can't tick it down to kill a creature, so we definitely want to activate this Hissing Quagmire. That's fine. And we'll say continue. And we are going to attack Ob with all of these. Trick to dealing with these Planeswalker decks, if you're able to, is to deal with the Planeswalkers as they come into play and not let them pile up on you, because they can just bury you in card advantage if they get enough Planeswalkers out. Then we will play our Swamp, and it doesn't matter which of these we play because we can only keep 1 green open in any event. I think the Carrier Thrall is probably the better choice, so we'll play that out and pass the turn. Alright, Ob going up again. Trying to draw our opponent an answer. They do have a full hand, so that's a bit scary. Looks like they are playing the not blue version of Planeswalkers. There is Planar Outburst. Well, I am going to go ahead and use Evolutionary Leap to sacrifice this Ranger. Don't want to sack the Carrier Thrall because then it would generate a Scion. Ooh, Nantuko Husk is good there. And it would die to Planar Outburst. So hopefully we can kill Ob Nixilis here. We're going to try to do that. We'll activate our Hissing Quagmire here. That's a fine way to tap the lands. And we'll say continue. And we'll swing just the Quagmire at it and the Scion at our opponent. Confirm. Looks like they don't have instant speed removal, so that's good. And then we'll make our land drop. And we'll go ahead and deploy our Nantuko Husk. With the Husk, we can potentially deal a whole lot of damage next turn. We would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because these generate Scions when they die, 6 to sack, which would let us do... Well, not to be the case. There is Chandra. Of course, if they don't tick it down the 4, we can save our Nantuko Husk. And they're ticking it up instead. Alrighty. Well, I think I will be taking 6 here. Skip blocking. Alright, so the question is, can we kill our opponent? As I said, we've got 6 creatures that we can sack. It will cost us 4 to play those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, which will allow us to activate this. So 12, 13, 14. That's enough to kill our opponent if they don't have removal. So let's try this then. We'll play our Sylvan Ranger. Yes, we want to land. Go ahead and get another green source, please. Go ahead and play that. We'll play Blisterpod. Get these out so I can respond if they have instant speed removal and it's like a fiery impulse. This gives me more creatures to respond and keep our Nantuko Husk alive. And we'll play our last Blisterpod. Hopefully I haven't miscounted here. Let's go ahead and sack Scion. And sack a Ranger. And sack a Blisterpod. And sack a Blisterpod. We'll get Scions from those. There we go. And we'll sack these. And activate Hissing Quagmire. And if we have to, we can sacrifice Quagmire to the Husk if they target it with removal. And still deal the same amount of damage. And continue. Swing for the opponent's face. Confirm. And it looks like we got there. So I'll see you guys in the next game. Alright, I think this hand is keepable, though a little bit land heavy. We have card draw and deck thinning, so we'll go ahead and hold on to it. We'll be playing the Evolving Wilds first. Probably getting a swamp since we have ample amounts of red in our hands, and we do need double black for some of our spells. Well, there's another black. Still, I think I will get a swamp with this. Kind of even out our mana production here. Okay, we might be up against another Planeswalker deck here. Although, it could just be straight Naya in a ramp or just an aggro form. Or any other form. Generally, though, when I see 3 colors like this, I start to think Super Friends. Well, let's go ahead and play our Cemetery and the Elvish Visionary. Alright, another Evolving Wilds. Would have liked pretty much anything else, but you get what you're given. And you better like it. Yep, we are playing against another Planeswalker deck. This one looks to have blue in it. So this is probably the not black version. Or it could just be 5 colors. Alrighty. Well, I think we're going to hold our Visionary back for now. Let's go ahead and Evolving Wilds. With this one, we're going to get a green. And then we'll Sylvan Ranger. And get another black, I believe. And there we go. That's all the swamps out of the deck. And skip attacking for now. Hopefully we can get this Smothering Abomination going to good effect. Drawing us a bunch of cards. Ooh, maybe this isn't Super Friends. Maybe this is just tokens. That is interesting. I think I'm going to just take the 2 here. We may be seeing a retreat to Emeria come into play to pump these guys. Or a Valor and Akros. Well, there's Nantuko Husk. That is very good. However, I think we want to start with this Smothering a Bomb. So, let's play a swamp and cast it. And skip attacking. We're kind of on the defensive at the moment. Well, there's Nissa. So, opponent will fetch up a forest here. Wonder if they're going to hold back or just keep plugging in. Looks like they're still coming. Well, I will block one of them. Need our creatures to sacrifice to the Smothering Abomination, so we don't want to be blocking with the 1/1s. Hopefully we don't get blown out by a Twin Bolt here. Looks like we're not going to be, so that's good. Alright, we will sacrifice Visionary, if I could speak with any skill at all. Got a second Smothering Abomination. I don't think I want to be casting that. I probably want to be Bone Splintering something this turn. Probably Nissa. I would hate to have that thing get flipped. So, we will play our Sylvan Ranger here. Yes, I do. Give us our last mountain there, please. Since we have basics enough in play for these Battlelands to come into play untapped, I will be playing a Cinder Glade out. Would really love to have a second 2-drop here instead of the Husk. See, our opponent's at 5 lands, so they're actually 1 land off of being able to flip Nissa, so I think we're possibly safe in deploying the Husk here instead of the Bone Splinters, so we'll do that. Try to stem as much of this bleeding as possible until we can hopefully get into the driver's seat ourselves and get aggressive. Alright, so no retreat to Emeria this turn, though there's a Nissa's Renewal. That's going to be making it a bit more difficult to kill the opponent, and it is going to flip Nissa. So my assumption about her not flipping was incorrect. Luckily we have Smothering Abomination to deal some damage to her. If they tick her up, though, we can't kill her with it. Ulamog. Wonderful. Now we need something to steal that. Our Obligator or Act of Treason would be very nice. Alright, let's sacrifice a Ranger, please. There's an Act of Treason, so that's good. Let's go ahead and play a Smoldering Marsh here. Then we will swing at Nissa and also at Nissa, like so. Alright, double blocking there, that's fine. We will sacrifice this Ranger. That will also draw us a card and keep our Nantuko Husk alive. Luckily, we also drew a Blisterpod, so I don't have to play this second Smothering Abomination. Waiting for the opponent to view damage effects here. Alright, we'll play out the Blisterpod. And pass the turn. Luckily, even if they exile our Nantuko Husk with Ulamog as well, we still have Bone Splinters as a sacrifice outlet to kill it. Well, Chandra's a problem as well. Looks like they may not have the 10th land to play Ulamog with yet. Ooh, Reprisal. Well, let's go ahead and sacrifice it. Should draw us a card as well. And it did. Chandra's Ignition's a good draw. Quite happy to see that. Not happy to see Obnixilis, though. Looks like this Planeswalker ally sort of deck is getting a bit ahead of us here. We might not be able to finish it off. Alright, Pia and Kiran are a good start, though. Play a Mountain. We'll go ahead and play them out. And pass the turn. Continue, please. Alright, so we should see Ulamog come down here now. And they're going after our red mana. Luckily, we still have one, plus one in our hand. And Oath of Nissa. And Ob ticking up. Playing this Ulamog might have honestly been the worst thing our opponent could have done at this point. Seeing as how we're going to do a lot to them with it. Well, let's start. Go ahead and play our second red out. We will Act of Treason the Ulamog. Then we will go to attacks. And we will swing Ulamog at their face, because I think he's bugged on here. You should be able to attack a Planeswalker with him as well and still have it mill the opponent, but it doesn't work quite that way on Magic Duels. Then we will have Pia and Kiran go at Obnixilis, and the 3/1/1s go at Nissa. And actually, we'll have Pia and Kiran go at Nissa as well. We need to get one of these Planeswalkers off the table if possible. Confirm. Exile 20 cards from the opponent's deck. Looks like they are going to block Ulamog and nothing else. So bye-bye to Nissa. Then we will destroy this ally, and we will do it by sacrificing Ulamog. That was overall a pretty good turn for us. Don't know if it's actually going to be enough to swing the game into our favor. The opponent's got a ton of mana, and here's Chandra coming down. So she's going to wipe our board, giving us just a Scion. There's another Oath of Gideon. And what is Ob doing? Ticking up. Oath of Nissa 2, perhaps finding a threat for the opponent. Though they have more than enough on board already, by my estimation. Chandra Fire of Kaladesh. Let's see what we can draw. Another Act of Treason. Not super useful at the moment. Go ahead and play Woodland Cemetery here. Then we will play... the thing is, we should play Smothering Abomination, and then they kill our Scion with Obnixilis. We might be in a bit of trouble, but either way, the Smothering Abomination will draw us an extra card when we sacrifice it to itself. We are in a bit of a pickle. I mean, we could Chandra's Ignition, wiping these out and then swinging at one of these. Just don't think that's the best use of Chandra's Ignition. Though Chandra Flamecaller can end the game rather quickly, we're still not able to kill her like that. So I guess it's Smothering Abomination. And passing the turn. Continue. Chandra is ticking up. Going to be hitting us for 6 here. If they had killed Smothering a Bomb pre-combat, then they could have swung with their allies as well. So they're just killing the Smothering a Bomb so I don't draw extra cards. That's fine, that's probably the best play. Kiora as well, well now. And the other Chandra. Probably not that likely to accidentally flip it, but there's always hope. I think our best draw here would straight up be a Nantuko Husk. Alrighty. That's not Nantuko Husk. 2, 3. I think we are probably just dead here, depending on if they attack efficiently. Drawing with Ob. Pinging with Chandra. There's Jace as well. Just every Planeswalker in the game seems to be in this deck. So that's a thing, I suppose. Alrighty. If you swing out, you've got it. Alright, you got it. No blocks. Good game. Hopefully we'll have a bit more luck stabilizing and getting ahead on board next game. Alright. Well, this looks like a keepable hand, so we will do just that. I think we probably want to lead off with the Quagmire, followed by the Evolving Wilds. That way we can play Blisterpod turn 2, sack Evolving Wilds for a swamp, which will allow both of these lands to come into play untapped. Looks like we are against possibly white-red humans here. So that could be a bit rough. Play our Blisterpod. And then we will go ahead and sack for a swamp. There we are. Luckily we do have a sack outlet in the form of Evo Leap in hand. So we will probably play the Evolutionary Leap next turn. I'm not going to block this. Could be something more worth blocking, such as that coming out. So we definitely want to play our Woodland Cemetery here so we can play the Evo Leap and still have the ability to use it. I want to block that Consul's Lieutenant and sacrifice my Blisterpod. Alrighty, Neglected Heirloom. We might have a bit of a werewolf sub-theme to the deck as well. Well, that's not good, so our blocking the Consul's Lieutenant plan is not a go. It looks like we'll be blocking nothing because they're not attacking with the Militia Captain. Okay. Do I still want to sack the Blisterpod? I think I do. Go ahead and sack it. Would like to draw an Nantuko Husk. Visionary's okay as well. Guess we're going to have to deal with that Consul's Lieutenant a different way. So let's play our Dragonskull Summit. And then we'll steal the sucker. And we'll swing out. Since it's renowned, it will pump my Scion, which is able to trade with the Militia Captain now. Alright. No blocks from the opponent. We will go ahead and Evo Leap. That's fine. The Lieutenant, getting rid of it and generating a creature for us. There is my buddy. Look at that. How cute is that? You gotta just love that face. Alright, 3/3 Handwear Militia Captain getting Nimbus Winged. So 4/5. Smacking us down to 11. What do we do here? I think we start off with a Visionary, and as much as I hate to tap my mana and be unable to Evo Leap, I think we're going to go ahead and play the Nantuko Husk as well. And we're going to have to race this if we don't draw another Steel effect or a Bone Splinters here, so we need to swing. Alrighty. Looks like we're going to 7. Don't know what else they may be deploying here, if anything. Alright, Open Free Blade, that's fine. At least we can deal with that a little bit. Smothering Abomination is a decent draw here. So I think we'll start by swinging with Husk. Confirm. Might ought to have played the Abomination first in case I wanted to sack this Visionary to the Husk. But I think I will sack the Scion instead. Alright. Now I do think we play the Smothering Abomination. The question is, do we block that Militia Captain or not? If they have another mountain in hand and Exquisite Firecraft, then if we don't block, we're dead, but they don't seem to. They tap down in any case. So, do we go to 3 here? There is Thalia's Lieutenant, so we would be going to 2. Would love to draw a removal spell. Which would, going to 2 would put us in range of Twin Bolt, but I don't think we can win if we start getting rid of things like Smothering Abomination, so we're going to risk it. Alright. Sacrifice Visionary, draw us an extra card here. Chandra's Ignition. Can we actually take advantage of that's the question. We only have 1 mana available, and we can only get our Husk up to a 4/4. So the answer to that is probably no. We're a little bit glutted with our high casting cost cards here. Of course, if we ignition targeting the Abomination, then it will kill everything except for the Militia Captain. Don't know that that actually does anything worth doing to us. We can deploy Arlinn Kord and make a wolf, or plus Smothering a Bomb and let it swing with Vigilance. If we had enough to play her, if we had enough to play 2 spells this turn, we would be getting somewhere. Unfortunately, we don't seem to. I think I need to play Sifter here. And we want to leave green mana open, please. Accidentally tapped our second green there. Didn't want to do that. Just didn't pay enough attention, apparently. So we don't want to attack. We are very much on the defensive here. If we can maneuver into a position where we can pump up Nantuko Husk very large and Chandra's Ignition next turn, we may be able to get back into this game. Okay. Don't know why you would do that. Or at least I would do it after combat. After I swung with this here. All right. Okay. So, block here. Block here, we have to. Confirm, pause, and then sacrifice the Smothering a Bomb to the Nantuko Husk. Which will draw us a card and generate a Scion. And we may be able, maybe not to win, but to actually survive another turn here. Let's see. So we can tap 5 and we have 2 mana open. So Chandra's Ignition is all we're going to be able to play this turn. So let's do that. Sacrifice Scion. Sacrifice Sifter. And play again. I do have a green open there, so that's fine. Play Chandra's Ignition, wiping their board and doing 6 damage. We will actually put them to 1. Still, we're dead to basically any burn. Looks like the opponent may not have anything. Are we so lucky? We are not. Do I want that Declaration in Stone? I don't think I do. I think I would much rather just Evo Leap it. And Carrier Thrall is fine. In fact, it should be enough to kill the opponent. We will play Arlinn Kord. Play Carrier Thrall. And we will +1 onto the Thrall to give it haste and vigilance. And try to win this game. Well, looks like we did, thanks to a bit of luck and some misplays by what now appears to be an AI opponent. I guess we were playing versus the AI. The game never told me that. Well, that explains why they did such silly things. Nevertheless, that will do it for this episode of Friday Night Magic. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like below. It really does help. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike. Let me know what I could do better in the comments below. I'm always looking for feedback. And until next time, friends, be excellent to each other.